Overnight, leaving a trail of damage from high winds, hail, and tornadoes.
The White House announces new steps to try to alleviate the log jam at U.S. ports. I'm Natalie Brand with the shipping issues and what's at stake for holiday shopping.
Also, William Shatner says, "Beam me up, Jeff Bezos."
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
4 staters awoke this morning to a second round of thunderstorms this week. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a 1-2 punch from Mother Nature. The slow-moving storm left a trail of damage from high winds and hail. Oklahoma received multiple tornado reports, including one that tore through the Clinton Regional Airport. The Clinton police chief says no one was injured, but a hangar at the airport collapsed, damaging several planes and vehicles. Of course, here in the 4 states, we had lots of rain.
And we had our own fair share of wind. Speaking of airports, Oswego Airport in Cherokee County recording a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. And then we also had multiple trees down in the Fort Scott area on the south side of town as a result of high winds. We still do have some rain holding on, especially down to the south in portions of McDonald, Newton, and Delaware counties. Throw Benton County in there as well. So that's the hardest rain. And then as we move to the eastern part of southwest Missouri, we don't see a whole lot of yellow, but certainly showers past the noon hour. They'll be here till probably about 1 o'clock this afternoon. There are our individual storm reports. There's the one with the wind gust indicating that's from the Oswego Airport. Out to the left there, that's 1.6 inches of rain. That's just in the past 24 hours alone, not to mention Monday there in Wilson County. And there's the Fort Scott report with the trees coming down. Our rain totals, this is just since midnight. So once again, when we come back here in a little bit, we'll take a look at it, what it's been like since Monday, but that's just since midnight, where down to the south, we easily see 1.5 to 2 inches of rain in those pockets of green. As far as what we're looking at nationally, it was a large system at one point in time, actually wrapped from the Mexican border through us, then doubled back to the Dakotas all the way to the Canadian border. Now, as we get a little blue sky, and yeah, crazy to think that. Look at that. We're starting to get a little break in the clouds outside of Television City. After a 10-degree drop in our temperatures, which is what we experienced when the rains rolled through, we're starting to rebound back into the 70s right now, which is where we see Chanute and Parsons. And then out to the east, Monette down to 65, Anderson at 65. Remember, that's where the rain still is. But this afternoon, we'll get back around, say about 71, 72. And then probably top out around 3, 4 o'clock in between about 74, 75. Not done. Nope, not done. So here we go as we break tonight into Thursday morning. The rain for Thursday morning mainly staying along and south of I-44, but making its way through the 4 states. Thursday, a little bit more sunshine than what we had today. And then guess what? Late Thursday night, Friday morning. Same pattern, same time frame. And more rain coming our way before the weekend. That one that rolls through on Friday, that's going to bring us that cold front. A little bit fall-like temperatures there for Friday and Saturday. I think the big difference between Saturday and Sunday, Tanya, we can finally take off our chances of rain.
Nice. Have a nice dry weekend. That'll be nice.
Finally.
We could use it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, some Kansans are struggling to get the affordable health coverage because they fall into what's called coverage gap. This happens to people who make too much to be on Medicaid, but not enough to get marketplace insurance. A disabled man in Parsons says it's happening to him, and that's why he and his adopted mother are speaking out to encourage Kansas legislators to expand Medicaid in the state.
He is in a vicious circle. There is medication out there that could help him, but he has to be on Medicaid or something, a medicine or a medical card of some kind to help him pay for it, because when we priced it, it was over $1,000 a month.
According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 90,000 uninsured Kansans would be eligible for Medicaid if the state expanded eligibility. Expansion opponents worry about potential cost. The U.S. is lifting travel restrictions along the Mexican and Canadian border. Starting next month, vaccinated travelers will be allowed to enter for non-essential activities like tourism and family visits. Advocates say this will also help businesses that rely on cross-border commerce. After months of lagging vaccination rates, numbers are increasing after more people are receiving boosters. Well, President Biden is meeting with business leaders in the shipping and trucking industries to try to figure out ways to avoid Christmas coming a little late this season. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The White House announced workers in the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, California are moving to 24/7 operations to clear a logjam of goods sitting offshore.
We are processing right now as a country record levels of containers and other goods coming into our ports already. The issue is that there's even more demand than the supply chain can support.
FedEx and UPS are also committing to expanding their operations. Gene Soroka, the head of the Port of Los Angeles, says his workers are already moving record numbers of goods, but the ships keep arriving.
They're averaging 6 days per week of work since the beginning of the COVID-19 restrictions here in March of 2020. And that's why we keep moving so much cargo, but it's still more on the way, and we've got to keep shipping at that.
There are similar bottlenecks in ports around the country as the increase in online shopping has fueled more imports, but there's a shortage of truck drivers to help deliver the goods.
And the end result is a lot of businesses are going to be under pressure. I think you're going to see businesses not be able to make their Christmas, their holiday shopping season targets because they can't get the inventory in stock.
The supply chain issues are already impacting the U.S. economy. Retailers are charging more for just about everything. The Labor Department announced inflation rose again in September. The Consumer Price Index is now 5.4% higher this year compared to last.
Probably going to see higher prices persist right through the beginning of next year, probably through the end of the first quarter.
With goods stuck in ports and prices on the rise, experts say it's better to start your holiday shopping now to make sure you get those gifts on time. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
The Biden administration says it is working with states to try to speed up the process for getting new truck drivers their licenses in order to help with the trucking shortage. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon. Not on the USS Enterprise, but Captain Kirk returns to space more than half a century after Star Trek. And later, we're making a pumpkin spice poke cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Star Trek's William Shatner becomes the oldest person to go into space. The 90-year-old actor, best known as Captain Kirk, lifted off in Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket this morning. Mark Strassman reports from the launch site outside Van Horn, Texas.
No, it wasn't the USS Enterprise, but at age 90, Star Trek's William Shatner went on a real-life space adventure, the oldest person ever to do so. The actor and 3 others traveled to the edge of space aboard Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket before the capsule parachuted back to Earth. The entire adventure lasted about 10 minutes.
I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary.
The trip comes 55 years after Shatner's Captain James T. Kirk first defined star voyaging on television.
And it looks like there's a great deal of curiosity about this fictional character, Captain Kirk, going into space. So let's go along with it and enjoy the ride.
Flying with Shatner, who was comped a ticket by Blue Origin, to millionaire businessmen and a Blue Origin executive.
And you're going to hear the engine cut off.
They've trained over the last 2 days for this moment, their space tourism adventure in Blue Origin's New Shepard crew capsule.
I hope I never recover from this.
Back in July, millions watched Bezos launch himself to the edge of space. Today was Captain Kirk's turn. It wasn't William Shatner's final frontier, but his latest one. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Culberson County, Texas.
Back in the captain's seat. The 2 businessmen flying with Shatner paid their own way, but the company has never disclosed the cost of a ticket. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Fairy godmother may have turned a pumpkin into a carriage, but that's nothing compared to what we're doing with pumpkin today.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Sure is a gorgeous sight to see here just past the noon hour over 7th and Range Line. Be nicer if we could see this at about 8 a.m. each and every morning. But here's what we're going to have to put up with coming off of our thunderstorms from this morning. We're going to do it again tonight into Thursday morning. We're going to do it Thursday night into Friday morning. So let's enjoy a little sunshine and blue sky while we can. We still do have rain coming down in the 4 states. There's a look at the band that started about 4 o'clock this morning in our highlighted counties out on the west of southeast Kansas. We not only had lightning, thunder, and very hard rain, but also 60-mile-an-hour winds and occasional reports of pea-sized hail, specifically in Montgomery County, Kansas. Now, as we put from north to south, it's just about pushed out the northeastern portion of southwest Missouri, but still south of I-44. Berry, Newton, and McDonald County, Lawrence County, still getting some very hard rain that tracks down into Delaware County, just a little edge, southeastern edge there of Ottawa County as well. So it's going to stick around here for about the next 45 minutes, at least as far as our counties go. Now, that's our rain total since midnight alone, anywhere from about 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches. But remember, we got to combo that with the heavy rain that we had on Monday. So if we just, take this week alone, see all that orange down there throughout southeast Kansas, that's going to be anywhere from 4 to 4.5 inches. See a little bit of the pink there riding the Oklahoma-Kansas state line. That's 6.6 inches of rain. Now, amazingly enough, we have been spared any flood warnings, watches, or advisories for the time being. Jet stream really sweeping in off of that trough there, just at the Four Corners region. At one point in time, we had thunderstorms this morning, and you can kind of tell the band that still exists right there, that went from Mexico through the 4 states, looped back around through the Dakotas, and made it all the way up to the Canadian border. It was impressive as far as its north-south realm. And now that it's rolled through, the winds have not died down in the least. Now we don't have to put up with the 35, 40-mile-an-hour gusts, but still, we're going to roll about 10 to 15, if not 15 to 20 miles an hour of sustained winds. Let's go back to 7th and Range Line, check on our temperatures, because as it rolled through, it dropped us about 10 degrees. We're down to 68 right now in Joplin after an extremely warm mid-October morning. We saw temperatures as high as 76 pre-sunrise. So now we begin our jaunt back up into the mid-70s, and it'll be a little bit of a while for everybody out to the east, because like I said, the rain really won't stop till about 1:15 and before you get that rebound. That's why we're seeing the warmer temperatures out throughout southeast Kansas, where Chanute and Parsons are already back at 270. So here's our weather trend for the afternoon, a little clear off, but then look at those right-hand side panels as we have additional rainfall on the way. So there goes our one for this afternoon, and then we kind of hang on to a little bit coming out of the southwest, specifically Thursday morning down south of I-44 is what we're looking at. But then by the time we get it, and that shouldn't hamper travel concerns at all. And we'll actually get additional sunshine Thursday afternoon, more so than what we're seeing right now. But then as we get into Thursday night, Friday morning, here we go again. We're working in from the west. I guess the one silver lining I can pick with all this rain that's going to happen overnight into the morning hours is when we do look at the severe thunderstorm risk map, we can eliminate that even low category. It doesn't even put us in the marginal area. So it is just going to be good old-fashioned thunder, lightning. Shouldn't have any hail or high winds involved in anything tonight into tomorrow. The rain we talked about on Friday brings us a cold front. Friday's going to be a little bit cool, if not chilly, at night. A pair of 40s rolling there on Friday night and Saturday night. Then we'll return to the 70s just in time for Sunday and to open up next week.
All right, well, hope it stays in the 70s. It doesn't peak into the 80s, because these
temperatures are great. Thunderstorm risk map stays exactly where it is, too.
Yeah, that too.
That's what I'll pay attention to.
We'll keep it there. All right, we take this time to honor today's four-state hero. Machinist mate First Class John Callison in the U.S. Navy. The petty officer from Joplin served aboard the USS Francis Scott Key as part of the Atlantic Fleet during the Vietnam War from 1971 to 1975. Callison earned a number of honors, among them the Navy Unit Commendation and the Battle E Efficiency Award. To Petty Officer John Callison, we thank you, our four-state hero. Are you a fan of pumpkin spice and everything nice? Well, you're gonna love today's seasonal version of Howard's favorite poke cake recipe. It's a pumpkin spice poke cake, and we're making it in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're a pumpkin lover, over the next couple of months, you're gonna be smiling ear to ear. That's because this is the time of year when restaurants and manufacturers come out with pumpkin-flavored everything, whether it's cereal, baking bits, or even gourmet coffees. To join this trend, we've created a pumpkiny popcake that's positively addictive. We start by beating together a box of spiced cake mix with some canned pumpkin, a couple of eggs, and water. We pour that into a 9x13 pan and into the oven it goes. After it's cooled, we poke it with the handle of a spoon, like this. Now we spread on a good amount of vanilla pudding that we've added a bit of pumpkin pie spice to, making sure we fill all the holes. Over this goes a layer of whipped topping. Then we'll place it in the fridge to set up. Maybe garnish it to fit the season, and it's ready to serve. With each forkful, you'll get a mouthful of moist pumpkin cake accented with creamy vanilla pudding and whipped topping. To get the recipe for our pumpkin spice poke cake, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a creamy pumpkin-y way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Can't complain about that. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. The new soybean processing plant is coming to southeast Kansas, and with it, 50 new jobs, plus an expanded market for area soybean producers. Montgomery County, Kansas commissioners approved industrial revenue bonds for a company planning a more than $300 million soybean crushing plant in the county. The Bartlett Company plans to begin construction of its plant early next year and have it up and running in 2024. The company says it'll process about 110,000 bushels of soybeans per day and create about 50 permanent jobs. Promoters say it'll also benefit the area agriculture and rail industries. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Still raining along and south of I-44 for everybody else, even though you see the clouds beginning to break. It's going to be a breezy one. And then as we transition down to central Oklahoma, the important aspect of that is it'll keep on training our way along and south of the interstate all through Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Expect another half an inch to inch of rain for those of you living down south. 7-day forecasts ride the 70s, and then Thursday's front into Friday morning brings us cooler temperatures with the 60s on Friday and Saturday.
All right. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, a panel of experts recommends a major change in guidance for how millions of Americans use aspirin. We want doctors to stop prescribing it for daily use to those over 60 and at high risk of suffering their first heart attack or stroke. That's in Health Watch. Plus, COVID numbers decline across the area. We're going to take a look at some contributing factors. And MSSU and the city of Joplin announced a new scholarship program for firefighters in training. We'll have details on that. Hope you join us for those stories, a lot more. It's all coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.